In this series, I'm going from a broke level 1 player to one of the richest in the game while only spending 2 hours a day on the account. So with that being said, welcome to another episode of the 2-hour Rags to Riches. Today is a very exciting episode because not only am I going to do my first ever heist, but I'm also going to be able to purchase the Kosatka submarine. As you can see, we have $2 million, so all we need is another 200k. Let's get the timer going. I'm now going to load into a public lobby and let's start up the Fleeca heist. So yesterday we completed the first setup mission, which is the Fleeca job scope out. Now it's time to do the Kuruma setup. These cutscenes will definitely cut into our time today, but it will be worth it because that 200k will allow us to buy the best business in the game. Okay, so for this setup, we have to go and steal an armored Kuruma, and it's actually fairly simple and straightforward if you also have an armored vehicle. So getting something like the Duke of Death is very important for this mission if you're doing it as a new player. So the Kuruma is going to be up here at the top of this parking garage. All right, we're up here. The Kuruma's on the far end and they're already shooting at us. But because we have this Duke of Death, we shouldn't have any problems. Well, that was really straightforward. If you guys are ever doing this heist, make sure you have the Duke of Death. And now all we have to do is bring it back to Lester's factory and we're good to go. And that is the second setup done. Now all we have to do is the finale, make that sweet $200,000 to $300,000 and get the Kosatka submarine. Okay, so I'm going to be the driller and we're going to change this to 50-50. It's a $200,000 reward in total. We're each going to get 100k and there will be a $100,000 bonus. So with that being said, let's get into the heist. All right, so we are now both in the Kuruma. We're now going to head over to the Fleeca bank and I'm going to have to do a hack along the way. It's very straightforward, nothing too difficult. So all you have to do is avoid the light green sections. It's just like going through a maze. Alright, and that is the final hack. We should be good to go and we should be arriving at the bank very soon. Alright, so we're at the bank. We now have to unlock the vault. Lester's doing his creepy thing there. So now I have to go in here. Hold on. Mask up, bro. Mask up. Hello. There you go. Nice. Now we're cooking, boys. Alright, we're gonna go in here. He has to hold off the cops, and now I have to use the drill to get into one of these safety deposit boxes. Now this one's a bit tricky. All you have to do... Okay, I already messed up. So hold the drill and just move your joystick forward slowly. There you go. Okay, so we just got whatever is in here. I don't even remember what it is. Now let's head back into the Kuruma and we have to escape the cops. Let's go. Please drive decently well, so we could get out of here. No, not to the rocks, bro. Drive right through. Okay, that's probably the worst place to drive into the car, but whatever works, works. Alright, we're at the home stretch. All you have to do is drive under the cargo bob. Keep going. Just drive straight, bro. Drive straight. Yes? Perfect. The heist is over. It is that easy. If you guys haven't done it and you're a new player, make sure you get it done because it's so straightforward. So all in, with delays aside, this entire heist probably took 30 to 40 minutes, which isn't bad at all. And let's see how much we get paid for. It should be 200 on the dot, if I'm not mistaken. So our take, yes, potential take 200, that's the total. We got 50%, which is 100k. And then we should get a 50%, or sorry, a first time bonus of another 100,000. And there you go, the first time bonus is 100,000, so we're at 200k, and that's going to put us exactly where we need to buy the Kosatka. But we can't buy it just yet. As you can see, it is locked. We first have to go to the music locker and talk to Miguel. And the music locker is right next to the casino. So I'm actually going to session warp over to the freak shop. We'll spin the lucky wheel as well and then head into the music locker. All right, can we get money for the first time in the series? I don't think we've ever gotten it. Please, no more clothing. I hate you, Rockstar. All right, so we're here at the music locker. We have to pay our $150 fee as you would in any nightclub. And now when we head downstairs, Miguel should be here to greet us for the Cayo Perico heist. Alright, so the cutscene is finally over and we're now able to go into Warstock Cash and Carry and purchase the Kosatka. Now, if you guys don't know, the reason why we're doing this is because the Kosatka submarine allows us to do the Cayo Perico heist, which is the best way to make money in the entire game. But not only that, on your first time playing through, you're going to make, with first time bonuses and everything else, roughly $2.2 to $2.4 million, meaning we could buy another business right away. Now, eventually we'll want to buy the Sparrow as well, which is a very helpful vehicle, but for now, all we could do is buy the base sub. Okay, so I'm here at the water and I'm going to request my Kosatka. Hopefully it shows up right here out in the ocean. Okay, it's right there. And now to get there, all we have to do is go over to services, Kosatka, request dinghy, and we have our own boat. All right, where is it? There it is. Honestly, that's one of the coolest things I think they have in the game when the sub emerges. And we are now going to be introduced to Pavel. He is going to be the one that helps us run every single Cayo Perico heist. He's integral, and we will have to owe money after each heist, but it's really not a lot. Okay, so we are now done the cutscene, we're in our sub, and now we can access the Cayo Perico heist planning board. As you can see, this is Cayo Perico, the island. And on the island, there's a compound that is owned by a cartel boss named El Rubio. And we're going to be robbing all around the island as well as his main compound to make millions. So the first mission we have to do is the Gather Intel mission. Now for our first time doing it, we have to go over to the LSIA airport. So I'm actually going to fast travel here in the submarine. All you have to do is sit down at the control center here. Go to fast travel. It's going to cost $10,000 each time you do it, but after you complete the heist the first time, it will only cost $2 grand. This is always the best place to show up when you don't have something like the Sparrow that is stored in the back of the Kosatka, because when you come up here, we can now hop into a dinghy, or so I thought. Dude, the amount of glitches I've run into. Okay, so as I was saying before, we can now go here to services, Kosatka, get a dinghy. And from here, we're going to go over to the Vespucci helipad and pick up a helicopter from there. That makes traveling around the map a lot easier. And if you don't know, the helipad is right over here. All right, we come up here and there should be perfect. It literally spawned in right on top of us. Hop into the helicopter and now we can fly over to the LSIA private terminal to take a flight to Cayo Perico. All right, we are here. It's time to go scout out the island so we could take some money from a rich guy. And we are finally here at the beautiful island of Cayo Perico. It's actually an incredible map in the game. I wish they had it just in your normal online session, but that does not matter. We are here for a single job, and that is to rinse El Rubio's pockets. And there is the main man, El Rubio. Little does he know that I'm going to steal hundreds of millions of dollars away from him over the next few months. So usually this gather intel mission is a lot easier. All we have to do is go to the communications tower and check out the primary and secondary targets. But for the first time through, we're going to have to scout out a few entry points and other important areas around the map. So we always start off things here at the beach party. We're going to have to navigate around the island on foot to get to some vantage points to scope out a few things. But first we have to wait for this guard here to walk away from the gate. Okay, so Buddy is starting to move. We're just going to wait here. He's going to pass us and now we could make a break for it. So this part is a little bit tricky. I'd suggest just following my exact lead. So we come up to the south gate here. And now that we're through, you're going to see that on the island, there's literally guards everywhere. We have to stay out of their cones of vision. And there's a very easy way to get through it all. The first step is to run here through the bushes. When we get to the gate here, all you're going to have to do is run past and through this gate. Watch out for the guards on the left. And now we're going to make a run for it in the bushes here. There is a security camera to our right. And now we're going to run a long way to get closer to the compound. Getting here is about halfway through, so we're making good progress. So once we get to the fields here, we're pretty much home free. There's not many other guards that are going to get in our way. Now there are vehicles around the island that we could have picked up, but I find it is harder to be stealth when you're worrying about driving around a vehicle. Doing this just makes it easier. Also, if you do decide to drive in a vehicle, watch out for the trees. They will knock you off really easily. You got to be very careful. Alright, so we have reached the vantage point that we need to be at to get to the entrance of the compound. This is the entrance of the massive compound that El Rubio has. You can see it over there. That is where we're going to want to rob. That big building. Okay, now that we've done that, you can see over there in the distance next to the moon that there is the communications tower. That's where we have to go to now. We're going to hack into it, and then we can see all the loot that's around the island. There will be a guard outside, so make sure he's not walking this way or he's not close by. Now all we have to do is climb up to the top of the communications tower. And the signal box is right here. This is what it looks like. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Go back up. Thank you. Perfect. The hack is really simple. We now have to find a way to combine these numbers and their multiples into 50 or the target number up top. So in this case, that's 54, and then plus 5 is 59. We have completed the hack, and now we can check out what the primary target's going to be. Now, the first time through, the primary target will always be the Madrazo files, which is one of the highest paying primary loots. But first, we have to go through this cutscene here where one of El Rubio's henchmen made a mistake, and they're going to feed him to the panther. Quite gruesome, but El Rubio is just a dog. So we could now sift through all of the security cameras on the island. Obviously, there's nothing in the panther cage. The basement is always the most important thing because this is where all of the loot's going to be. So sometimes it will be in that glass case. There's a few different primary loots that could be there, or it will be here in the safe. As you can see, we have the Madrazo files in there. That is going to be our primary loot. You can also look through other parts of the basement storage. You have stacks of cash there and a painting as well. We can also look into El Rubio's office and see the keypad there that we need to hack to get downstairs. And there's sometimes also a painting here as well. Let's see. No paintings this time. If you're doing the glitch, you're going to have to also look at West Storage, but we're not going to do that for the method in this series. And for the method that I use, we don't have to look at anything else. So we could now finish off the scoping of this island. We have to scope out one of the docks. That's going to be our entrance to the island, as well as the drainage tunnel, which is going to be our entrance to the compound. So there's actually no parachute up here. I thought there usually would be. If there was, you could just jump off of here and glide down. But the place that we have to go to is the main dock right over here. So I'm going to climb down, run through all the bushes, and get down there in a few minutes. Oh, no. Okay. That didn't go as planned. And now we're back at the very beginning. Okay, so I finally made it here to the main dock. All we have to do is run up to it at this location here, go into your phone, and take a picture of the main dock. Send it to Pavel. Perfect. And now we have scoped out the main dock. You can see that in the bottom left, right above the minimap. This is important because this is how I'm going to get into the island. And the reason why I do main dock is because now I could take a dinghy from here and get to our other points of interest, because we still have to scope out the north dock. That is a mandatory, but there's one other place I need to scout out first. And that, of course, is the drainage tunnel. All you have to do is drive over here to this part of the compound. If you drive around here for long enough in this direction here, perfect. You can see you scoped a compound entry point, the drainage tunnel. That is all we need. Now we could drive over to the north dock. All right, I've now arrived here at the north dock. So same thing as the main dock. Take a picture of it, But that is not all. We're going to have to wait around here for a few minutes because it's going to tell us to scope out a few more things. Okay, so now I have to go in here and search the nearby storages. And there's either going to be cash, grass, as we'll call it, or Coca-Cola. So now that we've identified that there's grass in there, you can see the icon on the map showing us that that is there. And that applies for every piece of loot around the map. If you take a picture of it and send it to Pavel, he will lock that in and it'll show up on your minimap. Quickly, we're going to take a picture before this guard comes by of the bolt cutters. And that is it. That should be the last thing that we need to get here. So that was the last thing we needed. Now we could go back to the airstrip, hop into the plane, and go home. And we have to do it this first time. Every time after it, we could just load into a new invite-only session. But to save the progress here, we have to drive back. All right, we are coming up to the airstrip here. Perfect landing. All we have to do is go and speak to our pilot. That's actually a lie. We first have to take a picture of the control tower. Make sure there's no trees in the way of it. For some reason, that ruins the picture. And now we are good to go. We just got to find our pilot and head back to Los Santos. All right, so we are back. So let's first go over to our nightclub and collect the money from the wall safe, increase our popularity again, and then I'm going to do the daily junk energy time trial. So there is our $100,000, which is amazing. And then now let's go use the passive mode glitch. Toss out the troublemaker, and now we should have our nightclub popularity fully replenished. Perfect, all the way up, $10,000 as well. Now let's head over to the junk energy time trial. It's actually way up on Mount Chiliad. It's over here. So it's going to take quite a bit of time just to get there. Okay, that took considerably longer than it needed to be. I left the nightclub when it was still daytime out, and now it is dusk pretty much. So if I'm not mistaken as well, this is the hardest junk energy time trial to do. So this may be an interesting final 8 minutes of the episode. This feels like the longest time trial I've ever done in my life. This is where having good stamina really comes in handy. Are we at least close? Oh, we are. Keep going. Keep going. No. Oh my god. Okay, so I've determined that on these straightaways here, I'm going to pedal. And then when we don't have a straightaway, when it's fairly steep downhill, I'm trying not to pedal to save some stamina. I gotta make it this time. I gotta make it. We got 10 seconds. 10. Come on. I think we got it. Yes. Finally, with just a few seconds to spare, we got the $52,000 for completing it. That was stressful. But I think that's where we're going to leave it today. I know we have 3 minutes, but there's literally nothing we could do in that time. So we did get the 2.2 million today. We did buy the Kosatka submarine and got the first part of the Cayo Perico heist started. Now in the next episode, all we have to do is do the setups and the finale, and we should be making well over $2 million on our first go. The only question is, what business do we buy next? Let me know in the comment section down below. I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.